Live from the KWQC Broadcast Center, this is TV6 News at 10.
Tonight, Quad City sharing her work through song and dance.
A woman that we have always looked to for strength, but now her spirit will be what gives us strength.
And after months of debate, City Council now discussing plans to rezone land for an SAU stadium. But because of a city ordinance, it turns out they may not have to rezone the land after all.
Well, it's been a very divisive issue. That's most unfortunate. But, you know, the City Council has to weigh all options, weigh what's out there, and make some decisions, which they're used to doing.
The controversy over the St Ambrose Stadium continues. Tonight, city leaders were scheduled to review the first reading on the sports complex plans.
But a memo from city leader offering insights onto how St Ambrose could shake things up a bit. We know that St Ambrose has big plans for that $20 million facility. The stadium would include 2,500 seats. Last week, city leaders expressed concern over tailgating rules, stormwater and sanitary sewer issues, but officials say those are addressed in the new plans.
But what if St Ambrose could build the stadium without going through the whole zoning process? City Administrator Craig Malin wrote a memo that instead of St Ambrose making the application, Assumption High School could do it.
KWQC's Kaya Edwards is at the City Council meeting tonight. Kaya, this is something city leaders have been looking into.
Well, City Hall has cleared out now, but it has been completely packed this evening as dozens of people showed up to speak for or against the project that had been in the works for months. But tonight, it was in the hands of City Council for the first time. And tonight, aldermen voted to continue with the readings about the university's development plans. But before the stadium can become a reality, it'll take two more of these votes. Now, we talked to St. Ambrose officials before the vote who say a lot of work has gone into getting to this point.
Well, we spent a lot of time studying, designing, and discussing our project over the last 3 to 4 years, and we're happy that the city staff recommended approval, that the Plan and Zone Commission approved this, and we hope to get a similar result from the City Council.
The one thing I was worried about is that it could possibly fail on the very first reading. And as I said earlier, that'd be a crime. There's still too many facts to come out, too much work to be done for it not to go on to a second and a third reading.
But a new surprise development released in a memo today. The city administrator says they've just discovered a rule on the books that says Assumption High School could build the stadium without having to go through the zoning process. And Mayor Bill Gluba says this is because of state law.
Craig said that basically if Assumption builds a stadium, they can do that without any approvals of the city because under Iowa law, high school can build a stadium pretty much wherever it wants to.
The next reading will be in 2 weeks, and it could move on 2 weeks after that for the final reading. Live in Davenport, Kaya Edwards, KWQC, TV6 News.
City leaders also moved ahead with plans to refurbish Credit Island Lodge. City leaders approved a contract with a construction company for the reconstruction project. Leaders say the project will cost more than the $1.2 million they originally expected. Now it will cost more than $1.4 million. And council members approved a one-year contract extension with the city's current traffic camera provider. This comes after city leaders announced a program giving people 2 months to pay their outstanding traffic camera fines without penalty.
Students at an Oregon high school are mourning the loss of a friend killed by a fellow classmate. Jay Gray with details on the very latest tonight on the tragedy from Oregon.
A solemn procession of students and parents showed up at Reynolds High School throughout the day today.
I just want to thank them for everything they did to save our kids.
Save them from a fellow student, 15-year-old Jared Michael Paget.
He arrived at the school yesterday morning on a school bus carrying a guitar case and a duffel bag.
Investigators say hidden inside he had a semi-automatic pistol and the rifle he used to kill Emilio Hoffman, as well as a knife and 9 fully loaded magazines with several hundred rounds of ammunition.
Police believe Hoffman and a track coach wounded in the gunfire were random victims before Paget turned his gun on himself as police moved in.
This is an extreme event that is going to take weeks for closure.
Or longer.
It's just sad, honestly. It's just crazy. I always see it on TV and stuff, but never think of it happening to your school.
Reynolds High joining the list of so many schools across the country where students have been forced to learn a difficult and painful lesson of heartache and loss. Jay Gray, NBC News, Troutdale, Oregon.
Clearing skies over the last few hours, and we expect to spend most of the night clear, but that could lead to the development of some patchy fog. There you see the situation overhead right now. Not much cloud cover. There is some cloud cover off to the west and a front, which has caused some rain this evening, but that's all going to fade away overnight. It might regenerate over the course of the morning tomorrow and in the early afternoon as that front moves through the QCA with a few showers, maybe a thunder shower or two, but really not much rain. It's going to be kind of moisture starved as it moves on through. 65 in the Quad Cities right now, 64 at midnight, 60 with the patchy fog at 6 a.m. Then we're back to the 70s after the rain gets out tomorrow afternoon. We go back to a partly sunny sky with highs getting into the upper 70s.
Down to a major detour planned for this summer, one that is going to impact many of us regardless of what bridge we use. KWQC's Bailey Dietz is here. Bailey, it's going to be a very busy summer as the Centennial gets some needed work done.
Yeah, Gary, about 30,000 vehicles cross Centennial Bridge every day, but repairs planned this summer are about to impact anyone who uses it. Lane closures will begin in a week and a half, and about 35 days later in the summer when it will be closed completely. Tonight, a chance for the public to learn more so they can plan on making adjustments.
Plan accordingly and allow the extra time.
That's what brought Elizabeth and Walt Keller to the open house on the Centennial Bridge project, hoping to better understand the timing of the closure for when they need to cross the river this summer.
It's our second option for getting across the Mississippi, but from time to time we've had difficulty with the 74 bridge, which is our number one option.
Knowing issues on the structure exist, many admit there's not much they can do about it.
We don't like the bridge closed. Nobody likes roads closed, but we'd rather have it fixed and fixed right.
Drivers will run into lane closure starting June 23rd, except for morning and evening rush hour periods. Then the total shutdown of the bridge between July 28th and September 6th. Doing that, IDOT officials say, helps shorten the length of time drivers will have to deal with headaches.
If we did this under a staged construction, we're talking a 6 months construction project.
While the marked detour sends traffic across the I-280 bridge, many drivers may want to use the government or I-74 bridges instead. Officials encourage you rethink the options, or if crossing the river is necessary at all.
We really know that 30,000 vehicles can't move to one of those other two bridges. We'd have gridlock. Maybe they can postpone a meeting till after the construction is over. Maybe they can hold a teleconference. Maybe they can ride their bike or walk or use transit.
Pedestrians will have access across during the entire project, with some adjustments to avoid construction crews.
That'll be handled by our contractor, and it'll all be well marked and so forth, so people know where they got to go.
In Rock Island, Bailey Dietz, KWQC TV6 News.
Now they say the scheduling of the complete bridge closure was set to try to avoid conflicting with the BICS or Labor Day weekend activities.
The state of Illinois is setting more money aside for early childhood education. Governor Quinn signed legislation today that increases the early education block grant program from 11% to 14%. It's designed to help kids up to age 3.
We need to put more money in education, period, in Illinois. Funding for education is the best way we can help our jobs and economic growth and our future.
Funding is expected to increase to 20% by 2016. The law signed today will go into effect July 1st. The Iowa Board of Regents is looking to cut costs at its 3 public universities. A new report from a consultant shows they can do it if they change what and how they buy things, use buildings in a more efficient way, and cut utility costs. The Board of Regents is also thinking about moving tens of millions of dollars from the University of Iowa to Iowa State and Northern Iowa. That money would be divvied up according to which schools have the most students from the state of Iowa.
Teacher, dancer, and poet Maya Angelou touched many with her writing. Now some Quad Cityans honoring her tonight with a tribute.
And one Quad Cities man is away serving our country, and here at home, a local business found an unusual way to say thanks.
And quite a difference in high temperatures today. 60s under the persistent cloud cover east of the river, 80s to the west where we had more sun. We'll talk about some more rain chances for your Thursday coming up next.
You're watching Gary Mativier and Sharon DeReek. This is KWQC TV6 News at 10.